What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Redbeard here, and we are back with the World of Tanks, and I hope you like the intro. I know it's a little weird, it's all historical footage, but I'm having a hard time working with this World of Tanks replay system that they have. I don't have any of the mods downloaded to make it a simpler system, so what I record on my capture card is what I get, and I don't really have any mods to, mess around and bring you actual in-live game footage as an intro like I can with War Thunder. So I'm sticking with historical footage. But with that out of the way, yes guys, I'm still sticking with World of Tanks. No problems there. Any of you diehard fans know that this game takes thousands of games, well maybe a couple thousand games, to become very good or at least semi-decent at. But I am sticking with it. My last episode, I was at 79 games completed, my episode 2. This episode 3, as of current right now, I'm at 329 games played. So, definitely sticking with, plugging away. But, with that being said, guys, it's hard to bring good video content for World of Tanks. And not necessarily because I'm all that bad at it. It's just, the only way I can put it is I don't have a killer instinct in this game. So, when the balance of the game suddenly switches in our favor and, everybody rushes out to go get the final kills before the game, I don't have that instinct yet. So, I'll do a decent amount of damage, but I'll get 1 or 2 kills maybe per game. Or, in this game right here, as you can see, I'm in a tier 4 Hetzer, and I'm in a tier 6 match. I'm the only tier 4 in this entire game. And a lot of my games actually end up like this. I am completely outclassed, completely outmatched, and in a tier tank that has no rightful place being in this match, and my team just gets obliterated. As I try to look down here as I went hill, and none of the enemy team went hill, and unfortunately the Hetzer isn't known for its gun depression, so I couldn't actually help out any of my teams there. And look at this score, 12-2. These are a lot of the teammates I get, guys. Honestly, this is why I don't play, or not play, but bring a lot of good gameplay, especially very quickly, because as you can see, I'm just running, and that's the only thing I think was just run, Hetzer, run, because it was 4-on-1. Oh my goodness, look at that. I'm dodging shots here. I'm going to take a quick pot shot here at this Churchill. It doesn't penetrate, and that's the one big thing I don't really understand yet is the whole penetration system. For example, just in that clip right there, before I dive in, these are actually a couple good games that I've had, and this one was in the Hetzer, and every time, guys, I seem to have a decent game or a good game, I just don't have my capture card recording. So this is the only thing I can do is proof that Redbeard occasionally does have a good game. This one was in a Hetzer. I was on a very good team. I can't be on an extraordinarily pro team to do well, unfortunately, but I do have good games. As you can see in my Matilda here, and that's the two tanks I'm going to bring the gameplays, actually good gameplays that I could find and manage to record with, is in a Matilda and a Hetzer, all tier 4, and that's what I'm working up, guys. I'm in tier 3 and 4 for most of my tanks. I'm almost to tier 5 Stug, as well as in my Brits. I think I also am almost done with the Matilda and moving on to the tier 5. But that's the one thing I don't really understand. I have a lot of issues with in World of Tanks, and I still don't know quite a bit about, is the penetration system. For example, on that last clip when I took that little pot shot at the Churchill, I know the Hetzer's gun has 154mm penetration. I'm using the upgraded, I can't even tell you the gun, guys. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at these commentaries with bringing real solid concrete evidence of what gun or what map I'm on, anything. I'm still new, but I know for a fact my Hetzer has that 154mm penetration gun, and I know for a fact Churchill max frontal armor is 100, and that I think is on the Churchill 2 or 3. But either way, I should have penetrated from the front with 154mm penetration, but I don't. I bounce, or it just doesn't penetrate, and that happens to me more often than not. And for some odd reason, I just don't really understand the penetration system still. It's a foreign language to me, because a lot of times I'll be using the guns that have over 100mm of penetration, and I'll take on somebody from the front, like a KV-1 in a Hetzer, and I know that its turret only has 75mm of armor, and I'll fire right at the turret, and it says, didn't penetrate, or or no damage done, or we barely scratched him. You know, whatever the World of Tanks sound says when you know it doesn't bounce, but it just hits the tank and does nothing. And unfortunately, that's what happens to me a lot of times, even with this Matilda. And I love this tank, guys. Any tank that has actual armor, I'm actually fiending for after being in those low tiers where it doesn't matter what tank you have, no matter what, you're rarely ever going to bounce a shot. So this Matilda here was a breath of fresh air. I can actually, you know, hold a flank, try and help the team out. And with this, guys, you know, I actually like the Matilda. The gun on it, it's pretty garbage as far as damage output, but it has good penetration, and I'll take whatever damage I can deal. And as you guys know, the armor from the front of this thing is just a beast of a tank. But yeah, this Matilda, you know, it's good and bad. I hate slow tanks, and I've noticed that's the thing with this Noob to Pro series is with 300 games, I finally started to really learn what I like, what I don't like. As you see, I'm sticking with the Hetzer. In my last video, I said, you know, I don't like tanks that don't have a turret. Well, that's not necessarily true. Would I prefer a tank with a turret like a Matilda? Of course I would. Better gun depression. You know, you can actually aim on targets even though you're driving a different direction. You know, there's a lot to love about a turreted tank. But at the same time, some of those German tank destroyers, they are a fine piece of machinery when you finally get used to it and you know how to play with a non-turreted tank. But delving in here, everybody knows this is the spot that all the heavies come to play, and even though I'm a tier 4 medium in a tier 5 match, I always stick with the Matilda. I always stick with those heavy tanks because I have a decent gun, I have decent armor, and I can really help out the heavies and take the load off, so not all our heavies are just bearing the brunt of, you know, it's just a heavy on heavy battle. And guys, this the standoff. Everybody knows this. You know, it's finally nice to know, I would say, after 329 games on the different maps that I'm playing. And of course, the gun depression just fails me here, but it's finally nice to know where the actual combat areas are. I remember, like, within my first 100 games, once you make that jump from tier 2 to tier 3, you start going, it's not just those same 5 maps anymore. They start throwing other maps, you know, the Sand River or Malinovka or whatever other maps we get. You know, they start bringing other ones in there. And it's kind of hard when you first jump in, especially when you start getting into the people that actually know what they're doing. They have 1,000 games, because a lot of them, they still go into the tier 3 and tier 4 games. It's like actually take friendly fire on that one. Some teammates are just bad no matter what. But Artie takes a shot at me here. Thank God he missed. Oh, artillery, that's another thing. Is I hate artillery. I just hate it with a passion. And I know how to, you know, minimize the risk from artillery, but every once in a while you guys should know that artillery will get lucky every once in a while and just take a pot shot where they think you might be, and your day is done essentially. But that's the thing, 329 matches. That's a lot for me, guys. That's a lot of games played. That's a lot of hours spent that I normally wouldn't just put just to learn a game. And unlike me, I'm kind of a not really spacey guy, but I'm super competitive. And when I'm in a game and it, you know, past 100 matches, I'm not being as competitive as I would like. I normally, you know, drop it and say, you know, it wasn't for me. But this game, with the tanks I've been unlocking, you know, I'm starting to actually really enjoy this game. Of course, there's the normal BS that you're gonna run across with any game. You know, War Thunder has its moments with its BS, but you know, for the most part, I'm learning. I'm having a good time, and like I was saying, I finally know where the major battle happens, and when I go against those bad teams that really don't send too many heavies out. Like here, there was only 2, maybe 3 tanks coming down this alleyway, which this is normally, when you're playing against 2 good teams, this is where all the heavies and mediums come to duke it out. And this is really where the match, 9 times out of 10, is decided, is on this flank. But fortunately for us, you know, this team wasn't quite, they weren't bad, but they weren't that great either. As you can see, we're pretty much even. But we do end up winning this game. I'm just going to give you that as a spoiler. But luckily for us, we have 2 tier 5s going in. You know, the Churchill, that's the workhorse, guys, of the tier 4 and 5 matches. The Churchill, with its great armor, decent gun, normally draws a lot of the fire, so guys like myself can, you know, slowly start pinging away at the enemy team. But I love this. I love being able to push up this far. I've never actually pushed up this far in a game before, because normally, you know, it's 5, 6, 7, 8 heavy tanks, medium tanks, all duking out. It's 3/4 of the team, and that's the thing I'm starting to learn right here. You know, as I take, God, don't get me started on gun accuracy. I know, I understand gun accuracy, but guys, when I say I'm naturally unlucky at gaming, I just really am. And so when there's a luck factor, like, you know, bouncing shots, or your gun just having that random inaccurate shot that it can normally have, as you can see, you know, I aim in all the way before I fire, but sometimes you just can't get that lucky shot, and I get taken out here. And unfortunately, I don't know what my tier 5s on the opposite flank were doing. You know, we had the numbers. It was 4v2. I pushed up the right flank. 3 of them were pushing up the left. We had the numbers, but they just didn't support me. So I ended up dying. But I had a decent game there. You know, just 1 kill, but I had at least 600 damage, if I remember correctly. But that's the thing. I'm starting to learn the use of teamwork. It's unfortunately that I don't have any friends online that normally play with me. So it's just me by myself. And the only time I can actually have really good games is when you have those teammates that semi know what they're doing. And unfortunately, in that Matilda match right there, 3v1, there was just nothing I could do. And unfortunately, my teammates weren't that good enough to help me out. But moving on to this Hetzer gameplay, like I said, I don't know this map. I don't know the name of the map. I could go look it up for you guys, but anybody that's watching this, you guys know what this map is. But I do know where to go now, finally. I'm not just rushing into the middle of the map, you know, so a KV-1 can just one-shot me from halfway across the map as it's coming out of their spawn. You know, I know the general flow of these maps now, and that's all I can really ask for. I know not to show the side of my tank. I know not to show the side of my turret. Just always aim the front, especially with this Hetzer. You know, it only has 60 millimeters of armor, but that's better than the 20 and 10 that it has on the sides and rear. So, I know never to show my flank. I know, you know, always make sure that you fully aim in, especially if you're having a gun that isn't the most accurate one in the world. But, you know, most of the guns, as you can see on the Matilda, I was using the 37 millimeter, or no, sorry, the 3-pounder, .39 accuracy. Right here, I'm using the 47 millimeter, I believe, howitzer. I'm not 100%. Either that or it's the 37 millimeter. It's the more accurate one. It has .39. As you can see, as I pick up that nice kill from a distance. See that guy right there? Same tank as me. Same tank, the Hetzer, and he just went out in the open. At least now I know not to do that. I know to stay behind cover, stay behind bushes. And right now I'm just following our light tank right here. I know he'll spot anything before I do. I have terrible view range in the Hetzer. So I know just let the light tank do its thing, pointing out the targets, set my Hetzer up for success, you know, just aim in, take those shots, knock down that 100 damage at a time. I know this gameplay probably isn't the most exciting for all you World of Tanks guys, but I just wanted to show, you know, any new players that you eventually will become good, or at least decent, and have a decent idea of what's going on, and you won't just be that teammate that goes out, does 0 damage, and you might as well have been playing with a bot. You're going to be that teammate that, though you may die, and 9 times out of 10, I think my kill death, so to speak, in tanking is 0.98. So, you know, I normally die with getting 1 kill. It's about 1-to-1 ratio. So, you know, I'm not a quickie baby. I'm not gonna, you know, carry the team. I'm not gonna be that guy that's, you know, it's 6v1 and I somehow pull out the miraculous. As I miss a kill there, I just do a critical gun damage, and that's what happens a lot of times too, guys. Is I can normally have an opportunity to get 4 or 5 tank kills, but unfortunately, I just end up doing damage and somebody else takes the kill. But that's what I want to bring to all you new players that may be watching this series, or even the guys that aren't new and have been watching me and seeing, you know, how a new player from, you know, game 1 to game 329 show you that at least I am improving, and I'm not that scumbag that just runs out, has no idea what he's doing, and just gives the enemy team a free kill. So we're pushing the spawn here. Game is wrapping up as we get another victory here. Guys, my gameplays aren't going to be anything flashy for right now, because every time I get a flashy gameplay, I just, for some odd reason, am not recording, from one reason or another. And so, just wanted to bring a nice little update. I am learning, guys. I am learning the ways of World of Tanks. It's a whole new animal from the games that I'm used to playing, like War Thunder, Call of Duty, Battlefield, you know, first-person shooters. I'm just not used to a game like this where there's luck and chance and a lot of skill involved as to where to place your shots, how you have to know all the tanks you're going up against, how you have to know what tank you're playing. There's a lot of knowledge that goes in this game, and the pros like Quickie Baby are just chock full of it. And me myself, this is a whole new beast, a whole new ball game for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If I was going to say anything to new players watching out, just keep chugging away. And like I said, every time you die, just watch your team. Just watch your team and try to learn from the best, because that's the only way you'll improve. So thanks for watching. And until next time, watch your six, and I will see you on the battlefield.